Hey guys, Uncle Ray, welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make an informed decision. And guys, if you are invested in any banking token at all, or the ISO20022 type tokens like HBAR, XRP, XLM, QuantLink, you need to watch this video all the way to the end. Because I'm here to tell you, if you do not understand the big picture of what's happening in the flow of money, and you're investing in these projects thinking that these tokens are going to do X, whatever that X is, you need to hear me out and get a better understanding, because the odds are you're misinformed just like me. And the White House just announced that they are coming out with an international standard for DLT, that's distributed ledger technology. Now, this information is immensely important, because if you're like me, you pretty much thought, for instance, CBDCs or cross-border payments that say XLM or XRP or HBAR, whatever project, we're like, well, look, we don't know which one's going to win, but when a government creates a CBDC, it's going to run on somebody's rails, right? Somebody's blockchain rails. We're buying that token. Well, guys, that is highly, highly unlikely. The odds are, and what I'm seeing, is that when a government creates a CBDC, it's probably not going to run on any of our favorite rails. Now, some of them will and are already doing that. But I'm here to tell you, the bulk of the money flow around the world, whether it's a CBDC money flow, if it's a cross-border payment, it's going to run on distributed ledger technology, just like the White House is building this standard. But the odds are the bulk of that is not going to run on any rails that needs a token. Now, that's the information I'm going to share with you guys. So hear me out, and believe me, in my opinion, none of it's bad news. I would rather invest knowing the big picture so I can make informed decisions. So that's what we're going to get into, and at the end, I'm going to tell you the one token that I don't think I'll let you down, and I will be stacking and stacking. But this is not financial advice, but it is information, guys. You need to hear me out. So let's get into it. Now, last week, I went down a 5-hour rabbit hole on what the legacy banking systems are doing to not get disrupted. And guys, that 5 hours was brutal, but I learned a lot. And the number one thing that I learned was that like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and the legacy banks have partnered together. There's 400 of them. And I'm not talking about your local branch down the street. We're talking about the central banks, the power players. And they are creating cross-border rails, payment rails for the legacy banking system. And it is basically the money flow of the M1 money supply. So we're talking about the lion's share of the flow of money. Now, I'll leave a link down below if you want to watch that video, and I highly recommend it. But in that deep dive, one of the probably top developers in the world, who is the blockchain developer for Goldman Sachs, he said, look, what the legacy banking system is looking to do is build M1 money rails around the world, and we're going to use distributed ledger technology, different ledgers, ledger to ledger, no token needed. So that's what we need to understand. And if that is the case, which it is, there is a play, and I'll share that with you at the end. Anyway, let's get into it. Now, no matter what, guys, There are so many competitors in the flow of money, quite frankly, even though I own almost every single banking token, and I know they're going to do well, and they're going to get their share. So don't let it get you disappointed. However, they're not going to be probably those huge moon tokens that we all think. But either way, for me, because I don't know the future. And if they start eliminating the need for tokens, which talk to a developer, guys, don't do your homework on YouTube. Go down the rabbit hole, talk to some developers and ask them how you can do a cross-border payment without a token and let them explain it to you. And the more you understand it, the better you'll be able to make better investment decisions. And the only thing it's done for me is I'm definitely positive I'm going to trade and sell bull run to bull run. For whatever that's worth, not financial advice. But what you're looking at, this, for instance, is just a platform, but it's Morgan Stanley's platform, and it uses distributed ledger technology. Now, it's primarily for enterprise, but guys, this distributed ledger is how they're going to tie corporations around the world into the banking sector. No token needed. Venmo. Venmo is going global, and Venmo is now going to start letting you get paid in crypto. Guys, no token needed. Now, you don't have to understand all the technology because, believe me, I understand way more than I ever wanted to. But the point is, when it comes to cross-border payments and the flow of money, guys, tokens are not going to be needed that much in the future. Now, they're going to be used all the time, everywhere, but nothing like we thought. I thought it was going to be 100% of everything. It's probably going to end up being 10 to 25% of everything, for whatever that's worth. But now look, for instance, Tap Payment and PayPal partners to expand global reach in the MENA businesses. Well, MENA is the Middle East. Guys, no tokens needed. They're going to be doing cross-border payments in that region and around the world. No tokens. Now, here's another competitor that no one has talked about. It's called Fluency's. Fluency's groundbreaking CBDC bridge paves the way for central banks to solve account or token-based debate. Now, here's the thing, guys. I also thought, and I was highly misinformed, that pretty much when it comes to, say, cross-border payments or whatever, that the lion's share was going to go to like the foundations, like let's just say Algorand, right? Well, guys, it's not. The bulk of everything, when this is all said and done, are pretty much going to run on rails of corporations. Fluency has a Ethereum core. Guys, they cater to central banks, CBDCs, cross-border payments, no token. Guys, these are corporations. See, here's the thing. I want y'all to think about it. A lot of people think, let's say a bank. If a bank wants to move into Web3 and learn about cross-border payments or the future, whatever opportunity they have, they're not going to call up Quant or Algorand. They're going to call up IBM, etc., Fluency, right? These are corporations with guys making $250,000 a year to go into their bank and cold call them and sit down and lay stuff out. Well, guys, they don't understand the difference between XRP, XLM, HBAR, and they could care less. They're going to trust the company, and they're probably going to use their rails, because as much as we like decentralized, they like being able to pick up the phone and go, what happened to my money, right? What, everything's not working. That's the way the future is going to be, guys. It's going to be highly centralized compared to what we thought. It's not a bad thing, Because quite frankly, guys, two of the most solid investments out there, in my opinion, is Ethereum and HBAR. And guess what? I hated both of them. Hated them in the beginning. Why? Because they're highly involved with corporate America. That's opposite of what I thought crypto and blockchain was all about. Well, now I love them. You know why? Because corporate America loves them. And corporate America moves markets. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what you think. If corporate America decides they're going to use Ethereum and they're going to use HBAR, well, I'm going to try to front run that and make some money. Whatever that's worth. And I know I'm rambling, but stay with me, guys. Now, fluency. Guys, if you go to the FEDNOW, which is another perfect example, FEDNOW announced that they were going to use Ethereum. I did videos on it. I bought Ethereum. And then they took them off the website and said, hey, we're not going to use anything basically with a token, right? And if you go to the payment system of FEDNOW, right, if you click on, and I highly recommend you do this, guys, go click on the FEDNOW logo and of where it takes you to, let me see if it takes you, bear with me. Yeah, it didn't take me to where I wanted it, but go to the showcase. If you click on that showcase, guys, almost every company that it shows you is a corporation. It doesn't take you to HBAR, it doesn't take you to XLM. It takes you to companies like this. Well, a lot of these companies have their own blockchain, or they are a payment type company like PayPal that you can go in and out of FedNow's system using those corporations. And there's hundreds of them, but you don't need a token for whatever that's worth, guys. Now, here's another example. Now, in my last video, that deep dive, I'm here to tell you guys, R3 Corda is a player. I mean, they are going to be a massive player in everything to do with the future of crypto. But I thought a while back that, well, that meant XDC. No, guys, I hate to tell you, but probably only 10% of everything that R3 Corda offers has anything to do with XDC. I own it, but that is the truth. And guys, don't take it from me. Please do your own research. Go figure it out and see if I'm right or wrong. I highly recommend, if you know any developers, ask them, hey, how many of these blockchains really need a token? Can they take the token away? And let them hopefully explain it to you. But like now, when you look at our quarter, excuse me, it shows right here on the thing, no cryptocurrency involved, no token capacity. Guys, R3 Corda is building rails around the world. They're involved in all kinds of banking and enterprise stuff. They're a powerhouse. And very few times do you need to buy XDC, because it's just software, guys, and that's the future. Now, if nothing else, what it tells me, guys, get it while the getting's good, because I don't know what the regulation's going to be, but I want you to understand something. You know, I've heard countless people like Jamie Dimon keep saying crypto's a scam. Crypto's a scam. Blockchain technology is the future. Distributed ledger is the future. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's crypto. No, it's not crypto. Guys, they're going to try to get rid of the token and keep the blockchain and keep the technology, because, guys, it's not needed. Distributed ledger technology, the ledger side of it, right, on a private blockchain, which, think about it, banks want to be private. That part of the blockchain doesn't need a token. Now, this caught me off guard, and I really thought that I understood almost everything about Ripple. Not talking about XRP, I'm talking about Ripple. But you need to understand this, guys. this is immensely important because every day, and I do mean every day, we hear about a new partnership with Ripple, and everyone goes and starts yelling, yeah, XRP, XRP. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you, when probably 95% of every time you hear bank partners with Ripple has nothing to do with XRP. Same with ODL. Banks do not buy XRP from retail. They basically source it from Ripple's escrow, and then they literally lease XRP from Ripple to do cross-border payments, and they pay Ripple for that service. Has no need whatsoever for retail market. That's why Ripple is setting records for growth, but the token's not pumping. Excuse me. But now look, RippleNet. Ripple uses interledger protocol. Well, I thought that was Ripple's interledger. Well, that's not. A lot of different projects use interledger protocol. Now, what is that? Well, the interledger protocol is a blockchain protocol used for payments across different payment networks. The open source protocol connects ledgers from 2 or more different banks, thereby removing intermediaries and central authorities from the system. It promises to reduce costs and the time required to process cross-border transactions. So guys, this is a fact. About 75% of all of Ripple's customers do not use ODL. Well, I thought that meant that they weren't doing cross-border payments with Ripple. No, guys, they're still doing cross-border payments. They're just doing it with the inner protocol, right? We've heard, if you've been listening, about the liquidity hub. It uses multiple tokens. Well, the interledger protocol can use, don't have to use. It can be used, set up 1,000 different ways with 1,000 different tokens. So guys, you need to understand that because there is a massive difference between Ripple and the interledger protocol and anything to do with XRP. Again, guys, the token is not needed that much. Now, if you want to get more information, guys, just Google interledger or Ripple interledger and it will come up stuff like this. But I wanted to just read this to reiterate what this says. It says, the interledger protocol does not require the use of XRP, period. Now, R3, whipping up the market. Now, this is important, guys, and this is getting into the good stuff. Whipping up your market with the 5 ingredients of interoperability. Now, the interoperability between all these private blockchains is where the banking tokens are going to do well, because pretty much distributed ledger technology is a blockchain, but not all blockchain has distributed ledger, or vice versa. It's one or the other. But basically, there's 5 key things, ingredients for the interoperability. So if you are thinking about a banking token and their interoperability or any investment, these are the 5 ingredients. They don't have to have all 5. They can just have 1, and most of them only have 1 or 2. But here they are. We need the integration with existing systems. And by the way, this comes from R3. So that's the integration. That's 1. Number 2, we need to be able to initiate transactions over other networks and rails. The third thing, we need to be able to transact interchain with solutions on other technologies. We need to be able to transact intra-chain solutions on different deployments of the same technology. And the fifth one is we need to reduce buyer's remorse by making it easy to interchange one underlying platform for another. Now here's where it gets good, guys. That leads us to quant. Now what you're looking at on the screen is an example. Like look at this, guys. You got central banks and say CBDCs. Well, you go down here, use the overledger. No need for a token except the quant token, right, for the interoperability. Guys, look at this. Digital currencies and stable coins. Doesn't matter if it's XRP, if it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever. If you need to have interoperability, it's going to be you're going to need the overledger. Look at this right here. Faster payments, UK. Swift cross-border payments, right, guys? You don't need any token except the overledger, quant. Now, from my understanding, you're going to need link as well. Now, Pay UK, guys, that is the payment structure in the UK. That's their biggest source of money flow, for lack of a better way to say it. But look, guys, no token except quant. Now, one thing to think about, guys, a lot of times when you hear quant or link, the odds are they're going to be worked together. I've done a lot of research, and this is a video that I watched right here. And if you want to Google it, it says, "Who are Quant Network's quant competitors?" It's a great video. It goes through every one of the competitors. And guys, there are no competitors. Now in that video, if you look at this top part where it says Hyperledger Fabric, which see in the past, we're all like, oh, Hyperledger, that's XRP, that's XLM, that's Quant, that's HBAR, which guys, it is. But in what capacity? It's a lot smaller capacity than we think. The odds are when you hear Hyperledger Fabric, there's not going to be a token needed, but a certain percent. And I don't know what that percent is, but it's not anywhere close to 100. Now, this is Ethereum's, and this is what Quant uses. This is all of Quant's interoperability connections. But when you see Ethereum, depending on whether it's quorum or consensus, it may or may not need a token, but it's still going to need quant. See, quorum, this is all JP Morgan right here. Look at these banks. Look at these MasterCard. Look at these major corporations. They're running on quorum. They don't need a token, but they're going to need quant. Corda, look at this, guys. Look at Bank of America. See, most people say, see, Corda, Bank of America, XDC. Nope. No token needed, guys, for the bulk of what that relationship is all about. Same with Big Pharma. And look down here at the bottom. You got Bitcoin and PayPal and Visa and MasterCard. Guys, very few times do you need the token in the percent wise. And I just want everyone to understand that. I'm not being negative, and I know that breaks a lot of people's heart. But the banking tokens are going to do well. But this is, again, guys, look at this structure. Every one of those 5 pillars need quant. But look at this. Notice this says Stellar, right? IOTA, right? Stable coins, Ethereum, right? They need quant, and a token is needed all through this sector. But now, and over here, see, it says Hyperledger may or may not need a token, depending. But see, quorum, JP Morgan, no token. Ethereum depends on what sits on top of it, what they're talking about. Maybe he needs a token or not. Corda doesn't need a token or may need a token sometime. But this whole section, no token needed, no token needed. And I want you to look at this, guys. This right here, CBDC, JP Morgan, SEPTA, Swift, Ripple, Net, Request to Pay UK. Guys, no token needed. So the bulk of all the money flow around the world doesn't need a token, but it does need blockchain. It needs distributed ledgers. But guys, we need to understand that. And I know this is long and I've been on a rant, but I want everyone to understand that. Now, what you're looking at on the screen are those 5 interoperability layers, and that is Quant, guys. Now, I know I've been on a rant. Let me know what you think in the comments section. It's not financial advice. And guys, the biggest takeaway that I get, I just want you to understand that when a CBDC comes out, it may not run on any of the rails. And I think if you're like me, you don't understand that, because I didn't. I really thought, look, they're going to run on one of these banking tokens. That's why I own so many of them. I don't know who's going to get the lion's share. I don't know who's going to get what. But I'm like, no matter what, all CBDCs are going to run on one of these rails. Well, that's not the case. It's going to run on some rails, but it's probably going to be a corporation set of rails, or it's going to be the legacy banking system that they're building on the JP Morgan private blockchain that has already done $700 billion worth of transactions. Guys, that puts it at about third or fourth of the biggest blockchain out there when it comes to transaction. And that is a reality. Watch the video in the description if you want to understand that better. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, guys, because I think you need to. I take pride in bringing you non-biased information. It's hard to give it to you guys because I know you don't want to hear it. And if you're like me, you have all those bags already stacked. And so you want to think that everything that we hear every day is true. Well, guys, there's so much misinformation. Do your own homework and you'll agree with me. I would love to have a great debate if I'm wrong, because I'm here to learn as well. But everything I tell you on this channel, I promise you, has merit. I may not always be right, but I'll be right here and we'll figure it out. So guys, if you've done your research and you can let me know where I might have a bad understanding, please let me know. I would love to correct it, because I don't have to be right. I really don't. I just want to be correct in my thinking, and I want to pass my information on, because I know, guys, if you want to be a successful investor, you need to know what you're dealing with. And this, hyped up misinformation is going to get us all wrecked. Well, when you come to this channel, you're going to get some good information. That's why I named it the Crypto Bellwether. I'm going to point you in the right direction, no matter how painful. Anyway, let me know if you're stacking Quant. It's one of my favorite projects. It's not financial advice, but please, guys, do your own research when it comes to banking tokens and any token. That's all I got, guys. Come back, be part of this community. Take care.